Hello, BookTube. I thought we'd rifle through the mail again, shall we? The 19-year-old who serves as my unofficial intern is in classes all day long, so you can take his place. I'm not sure how many of you can pull off the skin-tight lycra look that he does, but I'm all for you giving it the college try. So let's start with the box. One box today. Ordinarily it would yield to his brawn, but he's not here. My brawn will have to suffice. What is this? Oh. Oh my. The end of July, this is a 1,000-page new history of Frederick Barbarossa. Oh my. Oh my. Alright, well. Thanks very much to Yale for giving me a heads up. No advance copy, but still. What a way to start. Alright. Very nice. Very nice. Alright, what have we here? This is from late September. This is The Fall of the House of Cabal by Jonathan Howard. Victorian Gothic-looking thing. Johann Cabal, a necromancer of some little infamy, has come into possession of a vital clue that may lead him to his ultimate goal, a cure for death. The path is vague, however, and certainly treacherous, as it takes him into the strange territories that quite literally no one has ever seen before. The task is too dangerous to venture upon alone, so he must seek assistance from comrades for the coming travails. He's assisted by his vampiric brother Horst, and by a kindly accompaniment of a criminologist and devil, and they will encounter the ruins and deviltries, mystery and murder in the depths of the lowest pit of the city of horrors. London, to be exact. That sounds like fun. Not as much fun as Frederick Barbarossa, but it's only human. What can you do? Would be hard pressed. This whole ship would be hard pressed to beat that first book, but we'll see. Oh, very good. Alan Schwarz, ADHD Nation. This is the subtitle is Children, Doctors, Big Pharma, and the Making of an American Epidemic, and the book is, if I remember correctly, it is something of an expose of the rampant overprescription and overdiagnosis of ADHD and its sister ailments. It would be fascinating to read. I wonder how many reviews it'll get in the press. Let's see. Very good. Candice Millard, the author of River of Doubt, Hero of the Empire. This is about a young Winston Churchill. During the Boer War. So the trick that this will have will be the same trick, the same obstacle that faced River of Doubt, her book about Theodore Roosevelt's Brazilian expedition after he was president. The obstacle that book faced is, would it be as good a book on that subject as the one that Roosevelt wrote himself? And as good as River of Doubt was, it wasn't as good as his own book. And the same question arises here. Churchill wrote an account of his adventures during the Boer War, and it's really, really good. So, is this going to be better? It'll certainly have the advantage of historical context, which is nice. Let's hope some enterprising publisher comes out with a reprint of Churchill's book. Oh, look at that. Mercury and Margot Livesey. This is an American novelist. Let's see here. Donald is an optometrist. His wife Viv manages a riding stable. When a beautiful horse, a dapple gray Mercury, arrives at the stables, Viv rediscovers her ambitions to become a champion rider and begins to pour time and money into training him. Her infatuation with the thoroughbred escalates to obsession as she comes to believe that Mercury is in danger. Still grieving the death of his father, Donald is slow to notice how profoundly Viv has changed and how these changes threaten their quiet, secure world. It sounds very much along the lines of what this author does. A very smart, very subtle author. How she manages to keep getting book contracts, I have no idea. We're not exactly living in a smart and subtle age of publishing. But, good for her. All right, let's barrel along here, shall we? What is this? Okay. Sebastian Mallaby's gigantic biography of Alan Greenspan. A brutally boring human being with the power of a god. So, an interesting combination of the two. I suppose I have to read it, and it might be good for all I know. It's been a great year for biographies. Speak of which, this is Joseph Lelyveld. This is his final battle, the very last months of Franklin Roosevelt's life. There's the somewhat anachronistic cover. Okay. Well, it's extremely well-tread ground, but you never know. That doesn't stop an author from being great. So, another book on Roosevelt's final months. That's strange, isn't it? It's going to be very depressing. Okay. Sticking with the Rooseveltian theme, this is for late September. This is Craig Nelson's new book of Pearl Harbor, his new history of Pearl Harbor. From infamy to greatness. Backed by 5 years of research and interviews. So, again, like with the Candice Millard book, the problem here will be precedent. Because you have At Dawn We Slept, the great Pearl Harbor book. And that also was backed by 5 years of research. And that also was full of interviews, only many more interviews because people were still alive. So, again, you have the advantage of historical perspective for a new book. But, well, we don't want to call subjects off limits. We don't want to say this has been done so well you can't write about it again. So, that's why I read these things, even though I'm sitting here now, find it utterly impossible to believe that At Dawn We Slept could be better as an account of Pearl Harbor. But we shall see. What is this? Black Run, a Rocco Schiavone mystery by Antonio Manzini. Sensing an ethnic friend here. This is July the 5th, right? When all of you will still be blitzedly hungover from the 4th of July. Nash at the book bat, most of all, probably. It's always the quiet ones. So this is some sort of murder mystery, is it? After getting into serious trouble with the wrong people, Deputy Police Chief Rocco Schiavone is exiled to Aosta, a small, touristy alpine town far from his beloved Rome. The sophisticated yet crotchety Roman despises mountains, snow, and the provincial locals as much as he disdains his superiors and their petty rules, but he loves solving crimes. Just that paragraph makes it sound like the thing is carved out of a giant block of cliches. But again, I stress that might not debar it from being really good. It simply might not. So, definitely worth a try. That's why I read all these things instead of just reading about them. It could be good. A fish out of water detective in a small town who's used to the big town ways. All right, it could still be good. I'll give it a try, and I'll report back. Oh, okay, very good. This is Almighty. The subtitle is Courage, Resistance, and Existential Peril in the Nuclear Age by Dan Zak, who, back when I knew him, was a super hottie. Well, he is still a super hottie. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but you can always Google him. It's probably all over YouTube. All right, so this is something fell there. Wasn't a book. That's all I care about. It wasn't a book. Wasn't a basset hound. I'll get to it later. Okay, so this is about not just nuclear bombs, but also the ramshackle modern state of nuclear weapons. It's very good. It deserves to have 100,000 exposés. If the more you know about it, the more horrifying it is. With all this weapons-grade plutonium, weapons-ready systems that are just sitting there unguarded and all over the former Soviet Union. And all over, the middle of America, where, if you had a jeep full of enterprising militiamen in this country, or you wouldn't even need that. All you would need is $10,000 and an ID pass for the dark net, for the part of the internet where you do crimes. You could buy a nuclear weapon with horrifying. But anyway, this is the last one. This is a big show. This is lots of good stuff. And I owe it all to you, my new interns. Wow, back to World War II. Wow, Blitzkrieg by Lloyd Clock, great military historian. This is the history of the initially unstoppable Nazi army. In the spring of 1940, Nazi Germany launched a military offensive in France and the Low Countries that married superb intelligence, the latest military thinking, and new technology to achieve in just 6 weeks what their fathers had failed to achieve in all 4 years of the First World War. The fall of France was a stunning victory. It altered the balance of power in Europe in one stroke and convinced the entire world that the Nazi war machine was unstoppable. Okay. All right, that also sounds a little cliche, and there are a couple of assumptions in that description which need not have been written by the author. There are a couple of assumptions in that description that aren't true, especially the bit about superb intelligence. But this guy does great work, so I wouldn't care. No matter how bad the prose on the book was, I will dig right into it. I know though, it comes out in September. I'm almost certainly going to want to review it for somebody. I might wait for the finished copy rather than mark up and dog-ear this one. I'm going to have to go through the other one for the sources anyway. But anyway, that's shop talk. I'll bore you all with it later on. But for now, that was it. A very nice big shipment of books, for which I appreciate the help. Sorry to natter on, but new books will do that. So we'll be back to, well, maybe more book openings. Maybe book discussions, lots of tags, all 9 yards. We'll be back to it all tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.